All right, we are live. So I have asked Joe from Lendio to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program because that is a huge thing out with small business owners. And the reason why, first of all, thank you so much. I know you are super busy. I know it's been nonstop for you guys since all this happened. So I do appreciate you taking the time and hopefully helping out some of the people out there. Because like I mentioned to you before, I have a lot of friends that own, restaurants, bars, clubs. There's a lot of realtors out there that, we have our own business. So hopefully can shed some, light on that. And I figure we'd start with, what is this PPP that, everyone hears or talks about?
Absolutely. Thank you, John, for having me. And yeah, my pleasure. The mission is to help any business owner in Orange County, California, in America, right? Paycheck Protection Program is a program that the government came up to help the small business community, right? To get paid for the next 2 months and a half, right? It's basically your monthly payroll, your average monthly payroll for the last year, and 2.5, which is 2 months and a half. And that's the loan that you would qualify for, making sure that you have the right documentation, right? Either you're a sole proprietor or S corporation or C corporation, LLC, etc. In essence, in my opinion, right, that's exactly the program. It's just to make sure for the next 2 months and a half, you and your employees get paid.
Got it. So who can actually apply for the PPP?
Any small business owners in the United States that have been in business prior to February 15, it is eligible to apply for the Paycheck Protection Program. The requirements is a little bit different depending on the type of entity that you have. But yeah, pretty much any business owner out there that has been in business prior to February 15. I have clients actually over here in the community that applied only with they started the business in October, and they still were able to qualify because they submitted the 941 for Q1 for 2020, and were still able to get some working capital to pay them and their employees. So, absolutely.
I remember when all this was coming out. So I get coached at the Tom Ferry real estate organization, and I remember him saying, "Hey, this thing is going to come out, and people are going to be, climbing over each other just to get approved. So do this like the night before because it's going to be chaos." Can you give everyone some kind of idea, once the floodgates open, what was the outcome or effect of all that?
Boy, I said it wasn't pretty. I'll be honest about it wasn't pretty. I was working with clients since March, actually preparing them to make sure by April 3rd we were ready. Right, to start applying and get the money right away. Well, that actually didn't happen. Unfortunately, we tried our best. I'm not putting blame on anybody. We tried our best to get people funded right away, but it was one thing after another, right? The SBA website, E-Tran website was down.
Right.
Lenders, they were not taking application, right? They were just cherry picking the big clients. Let's be honest about that. And I would say that in the fintech industry, the non-bank lenders was the one that was actually, helping the small business community. But they actually came very late at the same time to start helping the small business owner. So the first time of the first PPP on April 3rd, the money ran out in about 7 days. Literally 7, let's say 10 days. Let's say it like that.
Well, that's what I did hear a lot, because I have some, connections in the big banks, and, they're like, hey, be honest with you, they're probably going to help out the big fish first. Is that because, they're profiting because it's a bigger number, or is it just they want to take care of their bigger clients?
If I say something, I will be misrepresenting, even though I don't work for any bank, right? But I don't know the reason behind that. I don't know if it was easy for them. I don't know if it was more profitable. I really don't know. What I do know is that most of the small business owners in America, they were left behind. They really were left behind, and it took a lot of time, and it was a really, really messy process. However, since I gotten better, right? Let's give it some props. The idea was pretty good, and it was helping a lot of people. It's still helping a lot of small business owners. I'm a very positive person. I like to focus on that kind of stuff.
Right.
It wasn't perfect, but it's getting the job done. I'm not saying that everybody will get the money, and there's a lot of people frustrated out there, and the customer service went on the ground. I like to say that it went literally on the ground. People calling, no callbacks, sending emails, nobody replied. As far as banks, I'm saying, but again, they tried to do the best. I know a lot of business bankers out there, and I tell you this: maybe the institution wasn't helping, but the business banker, that person that works with you or works with me, they were actually taking the time and trying to get back to everybody, and they were super worried about the clients. I got a lot of referrals from them. So
Awesome.
I don't shoot out the institution, but I like to give it some kudos to the person, to the business banker itself.
That's awesome, man. Well, how do people apply? Like if someone is out there and they got a small business and maybe they don't think that they can do it now, or like how can someone go out there and actually apply for the PPP?
Absolutely. So as far as applying, and I'm going to talk for round two, you might be able, business owners right now, they might be able to go back to the bank. I heard people that Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they call back, they approach them to say, hey, you're able to apply with us again. So I would say the first stop would always will be your bank. Ask your bank if they're doing it. If they're not doing it well, you can take a look at companies like Lendio, right? The fintech industry. You have PayPal, you have Cabbage, you have Bluevine, Ready Capital. There's a lot of companies out there that are actually helping small business owners to apply for the PPP. The program is nationwide. It's the same program, and if people don't know, let me kind of explain. It is a 2 years loan at 1%, 6 months with no payments. As long as you able to provide the right documentation that you use the money for payroll and some other stuff that it says on the U.S. Treasury website, you don't have to pay the loan back. And now there is an application on the SBA website that I'm happy to share with anybody that lays out exactly what they need. And that application, you have to fill it out and send it back to the lender if you already got the loan for the people.
Is it true? And I don't know, this is just hearsay or whatever, but they can only use so much of that money. It had to be mostly for payroll and it couldn't be for rent.
So yeah, the money, yes. So I'm glad that you brought out that question. So the loan is based on your payroll. It's not that you can add the rent and utilities on top of the loan. No, the loan is based on your payroll. Just to give an example, there's a sole provider per se. They're gonna go based out of your net profits, right? Let's assume that your net profits is $100,000. Divide that by 12, $8,000 multiplied by 2.5, roughly about 20,000, right? That is the loan that you qualify for. Now you can use that to pay yourself, to pay rent, utilities, etc. But it's not that on top of those $20,000 you're gonna add an extra $1,000 for your rent or an extra $1,000 for other expenses per se. It is only based on your payroll, and then from there, the use of funds, it can be used for payroll, other expenses, utility, rent, etc. And only up to 25%, right? 25% can be used for utilities, rent, etc. The other 75%, it will be for payroll, and that full amount will get forgiven.
Are all the banks or lenders doing it, or have some backed off, or?
There's some banks that are not doing it. That's why I always say, hey, check with your bank first. If they're doing it, fantastic, put the application with them. It doesn't hurt to have two applications. It really doesn't.
I didn't know you can do that.
Yeah, you can have two applications. The problem is that you cannot apply if you already have an SBA loan ID. You cannot tell, for example, you got an SBA loan ID with Bank of America, and you go into Wells Fargo and say, hey, I didn't get my SBA loan ID. Well, at that point, you technically committed fraud. So yeah, you can apply, and whoever goes get it first, well, congrats, right? Because it's first come first serve. But yeah, you can have multiple applications, but you only get one SBA loan ID.
Got it. And what are some of the we were talking about, there's always what's the word I'm looking for, opportunities, and chaos and any kind of ups and downs. So what opportunities do you see right now for the small business owner for the positive side of it?
That is a great question, right? The world has changed. The world has changed tremendously. If you can see, restaurants are going in, drive-through right now, takeouts, right?
Right.
Online, I feel, in my opinion, right? I'm a millennial with everything online. It's gonna be huge. E-commerce is gonna be huge. This essential businesses still out there, open. I feel like right now we just have to change the way we do business a little bit. Some states I'd open it up right now, which is great. Economy hopefully gets back to the feet in the next year or so.
Right.
As far as lending, I would definitely recommend, take a look at SBA and the products from SBA, right? Conventional loans. I don't know. It's, for example, over here in California, we have the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center. That is an institution that I highly suggest every business out there in the United States to follow. The reason why, because they have the resources. They always, in the community, they're helping. You don't have to pay them. They get paid by the government. And
what is it? Like, what is that?
The Small Business Development Center is a consulting company per se. I guess they work with the SBA. I'm not too sure about the entity, how it works, but I know they help small business owners, to get loans.
Is that like a government that you say you get paid by the government? Is it run by the government or?
What I can say is that they get paid by the government. That's all I can say at that point. And they help a lot. I work very close try to work with them very close. They always doing webinars and helping the community to stay in touch and how do they can apply for the PPP, the lenders that they have out there, So yeah, the SBDC is huge. Actually, there was a few grant programs over here by Verizon that they actually tagged in one of the webinars. So if you're in California, I would definitely recommend talk to the SBDC, get in touch with them, and see what programs they have available that can help your business. Doesn't have to be California, nationwide. SBDC is nationwide. But I know over here, SBDC, at least in our area, in Orange County, they're doing a fantastic job.
And so it's free. You just Google them and
yeah, it is absolutely free. You just go to sbdc.com or .gov. I gotta check again, but just Google SBDC and they should come up. It's Small Business Development Center.
So what about those people that haven't applied for the PPP? Should they do it on their own, go online and fill it out, or is it someone like yourself able to help them, or what would you?
Absolutely, very happy to help as many people as I can. Sorry, airplane running over here. John,
you mean your jet? Your jet's gonna about ready to pick you up right now.
Oh boy, I might have to do vacation. Let me mute myself. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
See, that's how it works when you go live. You just never know.
Exactly. So yeah, people, they can definitely give us a shout to Lendio here in Anaheim. Very happy to help anyone here in the community or nationwide. Absolutely, we have franchisees all over the country. Amazing people, all of them. Lendio as a company doing a fantastic job. But yeah, they can go through us.
Are you only able to do help here in California, or are you able to help people, outside of California, or how's that work?
I like to focus on California itself, right? We have people in Washington. We go all the way from Washington to Florida to New York. We have franchisees everywhere in the country. So what I recommend people is Google Lendio local, right? Or your local franchise, and talk to someone local, right? is a better approach. I would say I like to help everybody, but it's just me, right? And so many people.
Right.
So I always like to say, hey, if I see somebody in Washington, call the franchisee in Washington or Arizona or wherever they're located, so they can
Right, so
work.
the people here in California, and Joe's information is down below. They can just reach out to you. And how does that work? So do you help guide them through the application online, or do you take care of that for them online? And it's the same.
Absolutely. So we don't charge them anything. It's absolutely free. The lender always get paid by the lender, and hasn't changed since God. We still get paid by the lender. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask them some questions, right? Every business is different. Every situation is different as well, right? So we're gonna ask them exactly what is the payroll amount, and based on the payroll amount and some other factors, of course, we're gonna find the best lender, right, to do their PPP, and which one will be doing it faster. Because that's the
So you
beauty
guys
about
still shop it around. It's not like you fill it out and it goes to just Lendio. You guys, your job is to get them the best rate and the quickest amount of time.
it will be the best lender. In this, let's say, and I'm talking about PPP, right? For example, if we're working with a company that have over $300,000 in payroll, we're gonna find a lender specifically that can help them fund right away, right? If we have a sole prop that only needs $20,000, well, there's no need to flood that lender with a loan when we have other lenders that the specialty is doing PPPs from less than $100,000, right? So our job is just to make sure that they get the best customer experience, of course, and they get the PPP funding as soon as possible. That's what we take. That's what I take pride in.
So it makes zero sense to do it yourself, right? I mean, I'm sure it's confusing just like anything else. If that's not your specialty, some of that stuff is just gonna.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of confusion, and that's exactly what we're here for, right? We make sure that we guide them through the process and see exactly what they need, the type of documentation that they're gonna need, and what is the time frame to get funded, right? And that's what we are. That's what we can help them with, at least for the time being, this PPP. Down the road.
How long does it take roughly? I know it varies. Like, if someone like, hey, I did the application with you today, roughly, and I know it varies across the board, but when can someone expect to receive help or those funds?
Absolutely. I like to say, and to cover the lender, right, and myself, I like to say 5 days to get an approval, right, and another 10 days to actually get funded. Take calendar days, no business date, and calendar days to get funded.
Wow, that's quick. That's quicker than just like a regular residential, purchase.
There we go. Yeah, I've seen people get approved. I have one lady, you won't believe me, that she did the application at 11 in the morning, and by 6 p.m., she already got approved. She was so excited. She literally started crying over the phone. Like, she couldn't believe it. But again, that's one person, right? I'm not saying that everybody will get the same, but what I've seen so far is about 3 to 5 days to actually get an approval, and then the lender have 10 calendar days to actually fund.
What about the ones that had already applied from their bank and it's crickets on the other line? They're not getting a response. Is it about being the squeaky wheel and just keep following up and keep after them, or what advice would you give them for that?
In this situation, absolutely. I would say, in my opinion, right, everybody's different. You shouldn't be waiting for your bank to actually give you a call. I wouldn't recommend that. Even myself, I tell my clients, like, if you can and if you don't mind, I would try to follow up with you. But if I don't follow up with you by this time, please call me or send me an email or text me, whatever it takes, in order for you and I to work together and make sure they're being taken care of, right? That's just me. However, yeah, if they have an application with the bank and it's been over 2 weeks and they don't even know if they have an SBA loan ID, I would definitely go out there and try to reach out to the bank one more time. But if she or he is unable to get a hold with the banker, well, you can confident go and do another application with another bank on the fintech industry, because they don't have.
If they go online,
they can go online.
And so it shows their status at all, or no?
Yes, depending on the lender that you're working with, they will let you know right away if it's still in progress, or if they're missing some documentation, or if it's under review, or is it on the writing. Yeah, depending on the lender, right, and the technology that they have.
So what advice would you give someone that's in the restaurant business? And I know you're not like a business owner, you're more on but I don't know if you've helped anyone with the restaurant or any kind of advice that you can possibly give, a business owner at this time while they're kind of going through this hard time.
Let's remain positive, guys. Let's remain positive. Right? It doesn't look like, but let's remain positive. Let's make a way to bring more revenue, right? It seems look pretty bad, but I feel like as a business owner and entrepreneur, we always have to find a way to make it work. That's what I feel like. That's the main reason we get into business, right? To get out of the rat race. If we're already in business and we work so hard to get where we are, we can't let a pandemic which I know is happening, right? But we have to find a way to continue to thrive, right? To strive and do better as a business owner. So that's my advice. There's a lot of programs out there. At PPP, there might be another programs out there to help financially, but let's try to find a way to continue doing business. If we can have people coming into a restaurant, let's work more in the marketing side, Facebook, Instagram, so people can see what it you all about, right? Or if if you stayed open up and they want you to have that social distancing, well, you have 6 feet, one table for another, right? And you still get more people in, right? So let's just find a way instead of just sitting around and complaining about this and that, right? That's just me. That's my advice.
Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to even come on here and share, because I know how busy you guys are right now, and I'm sure on behalf of all the small business owners out there that are super thankful for people like yourself that are helping them out in this this time of need. So thank you so much, Joe. And his information is down below, and feel free to reach out to him. He is awesome. Before this whole COVID started, Joe was awesome because you were always passionate, and that's what I really liked about you. You're passionate to help. So I know I have some banking friends out there, and before this whole COVID started, I know a referral that you wanted was, get in contact with a major bank or a banker to see how you can help if there's something that they couldn't do, that you could step in and help. And I know that was a big part of your business prior to COVID.
Absolutely, yeah. Business banker out there. Lendio ourselves, we are a partner. We are an asset before, and now we're a bigger asset to the business. I feel like if there's a true business banker out there, they understand that this time is to help. We have to make sure that business owners, which have the backbone of the economy, are good, that in good standing, right? It's not because I would say it's the right thing to do, but there's a lot of families involved. And if we have the means to do it, which that's exactly what we have to do. Right. Personal opinion, I always say, it's my personal opinion. That's the way I feel about it. So, yeah, I'm happy to work with any business banker out there. Shout out to all of them that have been working with me, Bank of America, Bank of California, a lot of them. So I'm very thankful, John, for having me. And
no worries. Thank you, man. I know you're going to go back to the grind and help some more people out there. So thank you so much. And once again, if you guys missed the middle part, you don't have to go do this, kind of difficult application online yourself. Joe can take care of that for you. So it makes 0 sense to do it yourself when you can hire a professional to do it for free, and get done properly. So Joe, thank you so much, brother. I do appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and thank you so much for your time, man.
Likewise, brother. Thanks again.
All right. You take care.